Some people move through life with an uncanny ability to perceive truths that others overlook. They can sense hidden motives, predict emotional outcomes, and feel the invisible dynamics shaping every interaction. Carl Jung called these people intuitive introverts, those whose primary mode of perception is introverted intuition, a faculty that sees not the world as it is, but as it is becoming. But for those who carry this rare cognitive orientation, the gift is often double-edged. Jung warned that intuitive introverts may live one of the most psychologically difficult lives, not because they are weak or troubled, but because their sensitivity opens them to dimensions that most people cannot even imagine. Living between two worlds from a young age, intuitive introverts sense that they perceive the world differently. They know things they shouldn't, anticipate events before they unfold, and feel emotions that aren't theirs. Their inner world is rich with symbolic meaning, dreams, and unconscious insights. But this variability often isolates them. When they speak about their perceptions, others dismiss them or call them too intense. Over time, they learn to keep their insights to themselves, creating a painful divide between their inner and outer worlds. This double life becomes a psychological strain. On the surface, they appear composed, even ordinary. Inside, they're swimming in a flood of unconscious information, patterns, archetypes, and possibilities that they can't turn off. Their dominant function, introverted intuition, is constantly scanning beneath reality's surface, revealing truths others don't want to hear. But their weakest function, sensation, makes them vulnerable to disconnection from the here and now. As a result, they often feel ungrounded and out of step with the material world. The 3 stages of the intuitive introvert's journey. Jung's insights reveal a 3-stage journey that every intuitive introvert must navigate. Stage 1. The gift. This stage is marked by the exciting discovery of intuitive abilities. You might sense lies instinctively, feel people's emotions before they express them, or predict events with uncanny accuracy. It feels like having X-ray vision for reality's deeper layers. But this gift comes with a subtle danger, the temptation to dismiss the tangible world. Why focus on small talk or practical chores when you can peer into the symbolic heart of life? At first, the gift feels like a superpower. But relationships begin to strain. People don't want their unconscious motives revealed. They don't want to be known that deeply. So the intuitive introvert learns to remain silent. They begin to hide their true perceptions, wearing a mask of normalcy while privately navigating a vastly more complex world. Stage 2. The curse. Here, the gift becomes a burden. Silence leads to isolation. The flood of intuitive information continues, but with no outlet. Jung identified 3 dangerous psychological traps that arise at this stage. Archetypal inflation. The intuitive introvert begins to identify with the archetypes they perceive. They see themselves as the sage, the prophet, or the wounded healer. This grandiosity leads to a loss of self and an inability to relate to others as equals. Psychic contamination. Their boundaries weaken. They absorb the emotions, fears, and neuroses of others. What begins as empathy becomes enmeshment. They no longer know where they end and others begin. Possession by the unconscious, they lose the ability to distinguish between symbolic reality and concrete facts. Every coincidence becomes a sign. Every thought feels prophetic. They may slide into magical thinking and detach from consensual reality. This stage is where many intuitive introverts break. The psychological burden becomes too great. But Jung believed that those who survive this phase can become bridges between the unconscious and conscious worlds. Stage 3. The integration. This is where the true transformation begins. Integration is not about abandoning intuition. It's about anchoring it in the real world. Jung taught that intuitive introverts must deliberately strengthen their weakest function, sensation, to avoid being consumed by their gift. Step 1. Grounding through sensation. Engaging the body through physical practices like exercise, gardening, or mindful eating can reconnect intuitive introverts to the present moment. These grounding activities create a container for the flood of insights, offering stability and clarity. Step 2. Giving form to the formless. Intuitive insights must be expressed through writing, art, teaching, or therapy. Translation brings order to chaos. It also helps others benefit from the introvert's vision. Jung himself modeled this with his own psychological theories. Step 3. Healthy psychological boundaries. Integrated intuitive introverts develop conscious permeability. They can open to others without absorbing their pain. They can discern between intuition and projection. Most importantly, they can engage with archetypal content without becoming it. Becoming the bridge. An integrated intuitive introvert doesn't just see what others miss, they help others see too. They become translators of the unconscious, guides through the symbolic landscape of the human soul. Their insights are no longer overwhelming, they are transformative. Jung believed that intuitive introverts, though rare, have a disproportionate impact on human evolution. When integrated, they become artists, visionaries, and healers. They perceive what others cannot, and they do the brave work of making it real. If you recognize yourself in this journey, if you felt the beauty and burden of seeing too much, you are not alone. The path is hard, but not impossible. And the world needs your vision. But only if you learn to see without losing yourself in the process.